a rabbi for half a century. I've always promised myself, if this sermon were ever necessary, I would give it. Well, here we are, and here it is. I am angry. I am frustrated. I am fearful. But mostly, I'm angry. I'm angry at the United States Congress for ignoring the founders' constitutional limits on presidential power. The American dream of freedom for all while living peacefully with our neighbors is being attacked from both political left and political right. I am angry with Israel for abandoning the Zionist dream of a democratic and a Jewish homeland for all Jews, while accepting her entire population, including the Arabs, as part of the nation, regardless of religion. Israel's current government leaders are Jewish nationalists and messianists, betraying Israel's dream. Turning points in history most likely are not recognized when they occur, but such points redirect history. It's a hinge in time, and history moves in a new direction. Imagine late August 1897. For 3 days, Theodor Herzl leads a meeting of 200 Jews seeking to found a Jewish state in the Ottoman Empire, in what was then called Palestine. Afterwards, Herzl wrote this in his diary: "In Basel, I founded the Jewish state." If I said this out loud today, I'd be greeted with universal laughter. In 5 years, perhaps, and certainly in 50, everyone will perceive it. An obscure meeting led by a dreamer, a visionary, who would live only another 7 years, exhausting himself traveling between national capitals, attempting to drum up support for this vision of a state of the Jewish people in the Ottoman Empire. He could not foresee that within those 50 years, there would be 2 world wars. Hundreds of thousands of Jews would be murdered in pogroms in Eastern Europe. 1/3 of the Jewish people would be slaughtered in the Second World War. 2 million of his targets to move to the Ottoman Empire and a Jewish state would leave Eastern Europe for the United States before 1924, when the doors were closed. And yet, improbable as it seemed in 1897, 51 years later, David Ben-Gurion would declare the Jewish state to be in existence, to be called not Palestine, but Israel. Perhaps only a single man foresaw with such accuracy the world's new direction, the founding of a Jewish state. Few noticed the planting and the watering of the seed, and yet today a giant oak stands tall where the Ottoman Empire once reigned supreme, due to one man's courageous vision. Many today in the United States and Israel believe our long-standing democracies are threatened. Both nations being led by highly controversial men seeking ultimate power. 2 nations we love are indisputably, whether you love the new directions or you hate the new directions, they're indisputably headed off on missions unplanned and unforeseen by their founders. What shall we do? What's our reaction? Are we threatened or are we gleeful? How do we move forward without fear, anxiety, or confusion? This will not be a political sermon. I am questioning our plans for the future of the American and Israeli Jewish communities, given the absolutely new and unanticipated problems reported in the daily news. Herzl envisioned a Jewish state to save the entire Jewish people from anti-Semitism. He failed. Anti-Semitism attacks us internationally, nationally, and locally, causing us anxiety and dread. But a secondary motive for Zionism, rebirthing Jewish culture in a Jewish homeland, has succeeded beyond anyone's imagination. Even following the destruction of 1/3 of the Jewish people and the dislocation of another third of the Jewish people, Israel has become the world's most creative force for Jewish innovation and renewal, led not by rabbis, but by the people themselves. Estimating the good Israel has done is impossible. Consider that millions of Jewish lives have been saved. 1 million in the early 1990s made Aliyah from the former Soviet Union. Hundreds of thousands of others from Morocco, Iraq, Egypt, Yemen, the entire Arab world made a path to the Jewish state. Israel breathed new life into our historic language and our literature. Millions of Jews worldwide speak Hebrew and read a modern Jewish literature. Jewish novels, including Nobel Prize winner in literature, S.Y. Agnon. The children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren of those saved Jewish refugees have created unimaginable miracles benefiting the entire world. If you've ever had a CT scan, thank an Israeli. If you ever swallowed a pill cam to photograph thousands of images of your digestive tract, thank an Israeli. Drip irrigation, revolutionizing farming efficiency, is used today worldwide to conserve water. USB flash drives, Waze, if you're driving your car, for GPS navigation, and Mobileye, driver assistance and collision avoidance systems, today inside millions of cars globally, all Israeli innovations. Jews have been so successful in the modern world because we come from a Talmudic culture. We ask questions. We don't accept reality as it is. We ask why that's the reality, and ought it be changed? We change it if necessary. So be proud. Be proud, because this is where you come from, and this is who you are. Talmudic inquisitiveness propelled Jews to success worldwide. Jews have literally expanded the world's horizons due to our inquisitive culture. Polio vaccines by Salk and Sabin, nuclear fission, Freudian psychology, the idea of the subconscious, Marxian philosophy, to name just a few Jewish innovations that you may like or maybe not. Jewish culture and survival require a homeland where people are not persecuted. So besides numbering Israel's achievements, let's consider anti-Semitism, Herzl's original goal for eradication. I didn't rehearse the centuries of atrocities inflicted upon the Jewish people by every European country except for Denmark. Whether in 1096, the murder of 5,000 to 10,000 Jews in the Rhineland, or the 1492 expulsion from Spain of 50,000 to 100,000 Jews, or the first forced conversion to Christianity of perhaps 200,000 Jews in Spain and Portugal, or between 300,000 and 500,000 Jews expelled by the Russian army in 1915. We Jews have faced not only expulsion and being burned alive in synagogues, we face baseless persecution for our homes and murders within them. We dare not return to that horrific world. Israel for 77 years has provided refuge. Agree or disagree with today's Israeli government, Israel itself is a necessity for the Jewish people, and you must stand for it whenever it's challenged. But why? Why does anti-Semitism keep killing us? Today in the United States, we find neo-Nazism led by such luminaries as Tucker Carlson, who has the fake historian Darryl Cooper, who believes that Winston Churchill, rather than Hitler, was really the enemy in World War II. Neo-Nazism and white supremacy are alive and well in the United States, as we've experienced right here in Overland Park. And anti-Semitism in the United States is not simply from the political right. Nope. On college campuses across the country, Jews were attacked, called colonialists. Israel is deemed a racist, imperialist state, and innocent American Jewish children who have nothing to do with what's happening in Israel are blamed, as when Representative Ilhan Omar said, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," implying American Jews buy the United States government, and we as a group are responsible for the deaths in Gaza. Besides Omar's racist anti-Semitism and American neo-Nazism, we are fish swimming in the ocean of Christian-based anti-Semitism as well, without realizing it. Tucker Carlson, at the funeral for the assassinated Charlie Kirk, quoted Christian scripture story making Jews responsible for deicide and blamed Israel for Kirk's assassination. Our Kansas Senator, Roger Marshall, advocates allowing teaching that Jews killed Christ, the oldest anti-Semitic canard in Western history, while calling that freedom of religion. We thought World War II defeated anti-Semitism. It turns out it went underground. Alongside the death of World War II veterans and Holocaust survivors, we are watching hatred's rebirth in our backyard. Many of our students are rightfully afraid, adjusting behavior to not admit their Judaism on many campuses, and perhaps some of you are hiding your mezuzahs or your stars of David when you go out in public. The 3 murders at the Jewish Community Center in Village Shalom in 2014 personalized Jew hatred for this community. The gut-wrenching Washington, D.C. murder of Sarah Milgram, a child bat mitzvah at this very same pulpit, magnified our fears. Ironically, Sarah and Yaron were coming from a meeting to provide food for Gaza, when they were murdered in cold blood over the war in Gaza. Okay, here's the sermon. I ask this question: what is our way forward if we are to remain in this country, to live meaningful lives, to remain vibrantly Jewish, and to avoid or even oppose the growing anti-Semitism that surrounds us? It's not the world we grew up in. It's not the world we're accustomed to. It's not the world we choose. But it is the world we have now. First, look at the people around you, and I mean it. Look to your left, look to your right, look in front, look behind. Go ahead, look. I got plenty of time. Most important thing that we have, the most important asset is one another. Those people that you're sitting with. Don't run from your Judaism. Invest in your Judaism. We need one another to share the risk of ourselves and those whom we love, for emotional support, for sharing feelings at the moment about the United States and about Israel and about Jewish life. This is community. In this confusing time, this is home. I'd love to say to you all right now, tell the person who you're sitting next to how you really feel about anti-Semitism. But we haven't the time. What are your worries? What are your fears? What makes you tremble in your private moments? Those emotions should be shared with other Jews, and particularly those who call Beth Torah a spiritual home. I know this requires a rethinking of your relationship with Beth Torah. I know that. But there's this hinge in time, and the world's not the world we thought it would be. Community welcomes us. Jewish community provides safety and familiarity and comfort. Shabbat worship and social justice projects are the best entree points we have to anticipate one another's lives and to participate in one another's lives, to sharing, to just seeing others who share the faith that we have now inherited. Share with them how we feel about our world and our current situation. So has it always been at Beth Torah. We are a congregation based first and foremost on community. Now, as always, we are the community that we need. The truth is that our Christian neighbors, by and large, don't understand the threat or the gravity that we feel in our bones. And Lord knows, with few exceptions, they're not going to put their lives on the line to save ours, our community, or save us. And so even though Casey and I, my wife and I, are out of town most Friday nights, I intend to be here at least one Friday night a month instead of watching remotely as we always do. When we watch the worship from about 40 miles away. But I intend for us to be here, to share. And I need you, and you need this community. It doesn't make any difference which of the Friday night Shabbatot, which one you attend. There are plenty of us, but I'm asking you to be here because it will make a difference in your lives, and together it will raise our spirits when we're among people who share our history and our fate. The worship, typically led by Jim and Leslie, is excellent. There's a police guard at the door for safety. And believe me, when there are 100 of us here on Friday night, beginning with Sukkot, by the way, this coming Monday, which I hope we'll see all of you, then we'll know what community truly means. And it will alter your life for the better. So I'm asking you to change your plans. I know that. Change your plans and build this community because the hinge of life has turned and we all need to adjust accordingly. Beth Torah had this reputation for social justice. Some have asked me about renewing social justice projects at Beth Torah. So get involved with Jennifer Savner Levinson and Diana Hurst in the Good Faith Network, which they're helping to run, improving life in Johnson County. Or, Lord knows, poverty will increase and there will be plenty to do these next 4 years, or these next few years. Like increasing the Beth Torah food campaign. Wonderful project. Because our neighbors, some of them, are going to go hungry. All this to increase community, just when we need it most, not just for them, but for ourselves. Look, friends, our lives are changing. Regardless of your politics, our lives are changing. Christian anti-Semitism, replacement theory, white nationalism are rising on the right. Charges of colonialism, supporting genocide, illegitimate Israel, is causing Jews to be attacked from the left. I say, love the people Israel. Love the Jewish people. Love that you share a common history and a destiny as a single people, whether in the United States or Israel or around the world. This xenophobic, nationalistic, messianic Israeli government will ultimately disappear. Feel however you want about the government of Israel, the current government, which does not represent the destiny of the Jewish people or Jewish ethics, or frankly, the purpose for the establishment of a Jewish state, a homeland for all the Jewish people who choose it, all the Jewish people. We are part of a biblical people of Israel. As the Bible calls us, even if we don't accept or we oppose the temporary government of the world's only Jewish state, we need them and we need one another, regardless of our politics. Rabbi Steve Bernstein of Kansas City, who happened to have been the first educator at Beth Torah, will be serving Beth Torah for 3 months. Yes, I have this right? Starting in November. Yes? Okay. Maybe support Steve. Join his congregation. I think it's $150. It's dinner out for some people. It's not expensive. You can take a membership and you can help to support Israel. You can view the experience of living in a Jewish country through the eyes of Israelis and Israeli congregation, because we are one people. And if you don't believe we are one people, read the newspaper or the social media, because they'll tell you you're a Jew. We need one another more than any time since Israel's 1973 Yom Kippur War. And one last thing. American Judaism, Kansas City Judaism included, demands reinvention. You represent, those of you I'm looking at, members of this congregation and this community, you represent the best educated Jewish community in the history of the world. You know how to run things. You know management and law and medicine and psychology and real estate and finance and computer technology, and there's probably some of you who run AI. There's no limit to what you have tackled and you succeeded in. And I gotta tell you, Judaism just ain't that hard. Come here and innovate Beth Torah's new reality. This is a wonderful congregation with an incredible sanctuary and a marvelous history. Dozens of American congregations today lack a rabbi temporarily. Everything begins with community. So has it always been, so is it today. Come and build. Bring your talents, bring your skills. In your lifetimes, you have never needed a community like this, and the community needs you. And I'm telling you, American Judaism is gonna change out of necessity, and because guess what? This generation wants something different, and you can provide it with your skills, your imagination, and your community. Forget the struggle with Hebrew. Read the prayers in English. Believe me on this. Shabbat or religious school or Sunday mornings, traditional ways to participate, but you can figure out your own methods, your own involvement. Leslie Zucker has done an incredible job with planning activities for this congregation. I marvel at them every time I see them. But you represent the future with her. Don't make her do it alone. Call the people who appear on the Misha Beirach list if you want. Find out how they're doing. They're on there to get a call. Call somebody in the congregation periodically. You know, the Jewish community is aging. Some of us ain't so young anymore. Some of us would like a telephone call periodically. Ask how they're doing. Attend worship once a month. See your friends. Sit in the ulam if you want. I don't care. Well, Jim and Leslie may. Talk with your friends. Get to know the people. Create new study opportunities with older new friends. You all know enough to be able to lead them. You are Jews. Find others who say, we are Jews. Let's reach out and support one another, because the hinge has changed and we are in a new era. The best place to start is right where you are sitting today. Beth Torah, your spiritual home to rediscover your spiritual questions and those fears and anxieties that plague us day and night in this country that we didn't entirely expect. Jews are experiencing an existential crisis. Like the first Zionist Congress in 1897, the results may not be known for decades. American and Israeli history have both veered in a new direction, a hinge in time. Israel is not the solution to renewed Judaism in the United States, as once people thought it was. Nope. There has to be a reinvented Judaism here, in this country, for our people, for us. And we can build it now. We cannot disregard Israel, but they are not our future. We American Jews, we are angry, we are fearful, we are confused. Some are planning to emigrate to other countries. But I tell you this, the solution sits all around you at this moment. Other Jews, a community whose history and whose fate you share, get to know them and build it together. Be proactive. The future may not be entirely clear, but together we will save one another as we march toward a new era of Judaism and a renewed Jewish people. We are the community we so desperately need. Can you hear us?